Why protesting?
Because the American people who are really concerned about a foreign power dominating our Congress need to come out here and stand up to the corruption in Congress. They're basically being bribed or scared off by AIPAC, which is a lobby serving Israel, serving the military right wing of Israel, not the people of Israel, because if they were serving the people of Israel, if they had a conscience about what they're doing, and they need to care about peace and not empire, and that's the contradiction. AIPAC wants empire. They don't want to give back the Golan Heights. They don't want to give back the settlements. They want all of Jerusalem. And while it may be tempting to them, they are not serving the Israeli people whatsoever. They're serving the illusion of empire, and which is false security, because if you move into a neighborhood and you don't care about your neighbors and you treat them with contempt and you are violent with them, you will never be safe. And this is the time. A lot of people don't think you can make peace. You can make peace, because there are people of strong will in Israel who want peace, as there are in Palestine. The trouble is, with the media in the United States, you never get to hear the other side in Israel who are committed to peace and who stand up to the government, much as us demonstrators stand up to our corrupt government here in the United States.
Now, Dave, last year was a pretty horrible year according to human rights standards, because I remember seeing you for the Lebanon thing, where there were protest rallies here in Washington, and we know they dropped 1 million cluster bombs on Lebanon.
Now that is a crime against humanity if there ever was one. That was a wicked thing to do. They had no business invading Lebanon, and their pretext was a total excuse. It backfired on them, but the cost was very high. It was a victory for no one, especially children.
And they used the cluster bombs that are made, some of them are made by Lockheed Martin, which is a big Maryland corporation. And in addition to that, you had what went on in occupied Gaza last year. It was just horrific stuff, with raids and demolitions and all that. So unless this stops, we're going to see more of it. Is that right? Is that the main concern?
I don't know. But the American people have got to discover their power. We do have it. We've got to learn how to organize and cut out these wars. People like Lockheed Martin, they give money to people like Mikulski, Senator Mikulski. We, the American people, need to learn how to stand up to our government. The French know how to do it. I hope we would use maybe more peaceful means, but we need to get in the street. We need to show we need business, and if we need to shut down Wall Street where all these millionaires, billionaires play, then so be it. Let's shut it down, shut down the bridges, shut down, strike for peace in this country. We need to strike for peace, and our different groups need to work together. We need to educate each other. The world cannot afford these wars. They are destroying the atmosphere. Just as sure as all the cars of China, those bombs destroy atmosphere.
So there are consequences just beyond those wars and the people that die. The fact that, like I think in Iraq, the depleted uranium, God knows what it's doing to the environment and to the health of the people.
It's giving cancer, it's giving birth defects, not only to the Iraqi people, but to the American soldiers who came in contact. A lot of their children are born with serious birth defects traceable to depleted uranium.
Okay. I'm with Brian Hennessey. Now, Brian, why are you here tonight?
Well, I'm here to try and take back our Congress. We feel that there's a registered foreign lobby that really doesn't allow our objectives of peace to come through. And it's AIPAC. AIPAC is fundamentally for Israel. And as many studies, and including Jimmy Carter's book, has shown now that really we're just not in charge of our foreign policy anymore. And we want to get hold of it again. So we don't go into Iraq or Iran or anywhere else.
So there's potential danger here if we don't get control of it. Then
that's
what's
what I feel. I feel Israel should have its own foreign policy, and we should have our own that's in our national interest. And our national interest is peace.
Now that book there, John Pilger's.
No. It's actually by Ilham Pape. John Pilger wrote the foreword.
Okay.
But Ilan Pappé is an Israeli Jewish historian who's written many books about Israel's founding in 1948 that is part of the creation myth of Israel. It's sort of like in my country in the US, when I was a kid, I was brought up with this myth of how the West was won. And it was all cowboys and all heroic, and the Indians were savages. Well, the last movie made about in the Western genre was Brokeback Mountain, about two gay cowboys, because we're ashamed of Westerns and how we killed Indians and massacred them. And that's starting in Israel. There's an open dialogue in Israel. There's no dialogue in the U.S. about this.
So they're actually talking about, and this book kind of brings out what really happened.
Shows that it was premeditated. It's called Plan Dalat. And Plan Dalat was a premeditated plan to ethnically cleanse Palestine of 750,000 people.
And
so there was no accident.
You're going back to the 48 war
1948.
Now? 48. Okay, thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Hi, and your name, sir?
I'm Ross Pourzal from Washington, D.C.
And Ross, why are you here tonight?
I'm protesting the AIPAC convention because they are draining money from the U.S. Treasury, from taxpayers like me, to finance occupation and brutality in the Middle East, and particularly because AIPAC is now promoting a war with Iran.
And how concerned are you that there could be an attack against Iran? I mean, there's talk about that. There's talk about military equipment being moved close to there, aircraft carriers, this whole business about this preemption doctrine that was created by Wolfowitz, that it could be used against Iran. How concerned are you about that? How
I'm
real
very
is that?
concerned. I think right now it's a flip of a coin. We don't know what is going on behind closed doors in Washington, but certainly there's enough bluster and enough threats against Iran, and I think we should take them very seriously. We should take them at their word that this administration and neoconservative supporters are crazy enough to do what they did in Iraq, to repeat it in Iran.
So it's a possibility, and
it's a distinct possibility, right? And it's up to us, the citizens of this country, to prevent this madness, because America is now hated around the world, and this is unnecessary, because we, the people, don't benefit from the actions of this government, but we reap the hostility, the enmity that comes back.
Could they want to invade Iran to kind of cover up what's happened in Iraq, like, to just divert the people's attention away from the Iraq debacle? Could that be another reason?
Yes, but this is a long-term plan. I mean, the U.S. has been itching with encouragement from Israel to attack Iran and do what they call regime change there. And it's mostly about oil. But in this case, right now, of course, Bush has got only 2 years left in office, and he's looking for an scapegoat to blame the debacle in Iraq on. And of course, Iran is right there, convenient, just like Cambodia during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, there are some people in this country that realize, not a lot, that there was a coup in Iran back in the early 50s that was engineered by the CIA and the Brits. And they deposed the democratically elected prime minister, and they put on the throne the Shah. Is that right?
In light of that coup d'etat engineered by the CIA, it's particularly ridiculous for Condoleezza Rice and others in this administration and in the think tanks in Washington to claim that they want to overthrow Iran's government in order to bring democracy to Iran. Because we had democracy in the 1940s and 50s, and it ended because of American intervention. So this is the height of hypocrisy to say to Americans that Middle Eastern people don't know how to take care of themselves and to advance freedom there, and that we need to go there and teach them. I mean, this is an old colonial ruse.
Well, thanks a lot, Ross.
Thank you.